بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
It will be rules of reciting Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim between two surahs, meaning after finishing one surah, when we start another new surah, while we're sitting in one sitting, we're reading Quran, we just completed one surah, we're going to start another new surah. So there are again four ways to recite Bismillah in between two surahs. To recite Bismillah between two surahs, i.e., after finishing one surah and before starting a new one, is mustahab, recommended. It is mustahab to recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. For example, you are reading from Surah Fil to Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas. To start with A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitan Rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You recite Alam Tara Kayfa Fa'ala Rabbuka bi Ashabil Fil, the whole surah. And when you finish by saying فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ, then you start لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. Before that, you recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ إِلَافِهِمْ. So it is mustahab to recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim before every surah after finishing one surah. So there are four methods of reciting Bismillah between two surahs. There are four methods. Again, these are the same names as we found before. Faslul Kul, Waslul Kul, Waslul Awwal Bithani, Waslul Thani Bithalis. These are the four same categories. So Faslul Kul means all separate, meaning the last ayat of the previous surah. We recite the last ayat of the previous surah, give a pause, then we recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, give a pause, then we recite the new surah. One example is فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لإيلاف قريش. So there are three things. The last ayat of the previous surah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in between, and then the new surah, first ayat of the new surah. So these are three things. To keep all separate is called Faslul Kul, the first one. So we finish the first surah, recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, pause, then we recite the new surah and give pause, keeping pause in between all three things. So these are called Faslul Kul. Okay. Second one is called Waslul Kul, to keep all together. So you finish the previous surah, recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and you start the new surah without giving any pause, in one breath. So like this. فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. For the Qur'an who are famous, prominent Qur'an, they can recite so many ayahs in one breath. So they can recite maybe two surahs in one breath. So while doing that in between, we just recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, within that one breath. Okay? So this is called Waslul Kul. Waslul Kul. Or another example is, say, if you finish Surah Ikhlas, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ, then Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, then قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. So if you do it together, it will be like this. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. So all three together. Waslul Kul is the second one. Then the third one is Waslul Awwal Bithani, joining first with the second. Which one is the first? The last ayat of the previous surah, joining with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. So in this example what we did, we join the last of ayat of the surah with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and then we paused. Then we recite next surah, which is Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. So this is the third one. The fourth one is Waslul Thani bi Thalith, joining the second with the third. Joining second with the third, meaning to keep the last ayat of the previous surah separate, then Bismillah and the next surah together. So we recite وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق. Okay, so the previous surah is separate, Bismillah and the new surah together. Out of these four rules, the third one is makruh, is disliked. We shouldn't do the third one. Otherwise, all three we can do. Only the third one, which is to recite the last ayat of the surah with Bismillah and then give pause, then start to a new surah. Why the scholar said, if you do so, the people would maybe think that Bismillah is the part of the previous surah. They will think that Bismillah is the part of the previous surah. For example, the third example we said, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ. So we paused. This is the third one. The people will think that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim part of the Surah Ikhlas. Question: does anyone know how many surahs are in the Quran? Yes, Ubaida. 114. Anyone else? 113. Anyone else? So someone said 113 surahs in the Quran. Someone said 114 surahs in the Quran. So why don't we just open the Quran and count the surahs? 113 is not too big. Why? Okay. So the reason is that the differences of opinion. How many surahs are in the Quran? 113 or 114? So there are two opinions. Some scholars say 113 surahs are in the Quran. Some scholars say that 114 surahs are in the Quran. So why the differences? Differences because there is one surah in the Quran which is called Surah Tauba. In Surah Tauba, there is no Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim before the surah. So in every other surah, as you can see, when you start a surah, there is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim before the surah, isn't it? However, the surah is surah number 9, isn't it? Surah number 9, when you start Surah Tauba, there is no Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim before that surah. Because of that, some scholars said, because there is no Surah Bismillah before Surah Tauba, so there are 113 surahs in the Quran, joining Surah Tauba with including the previous surah in the previous surah. So they do not think that Surah Tauba is separate surah. So according to them, there are 113 surah. However, some scholars said no, Surah Tauba is a separate surah than Surah Anfal, and this is why 114 surahs are in the Quran.
Why does it have Bismillah then? Why?
Now the reason is why Allah did not mention Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim before Surah Tauba. Okay, so there are a few reasons. Okay, so that is reason. One of the reasons the scholars mentioned that omission of Bismillah before reading Surah Barat is because this surah does not plead for safety or mercy for the non-believers, while Bismillah does give safety and mercy. The Surah Barat actually commands the slashing of mushrikeen with the sword. Therefore, Bismillah is not recited before this surah. So in Surah Tauba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about jihad, fighting against a non-believer and things like this, war, rules of war are in this surah. However, Bismillah is actually for safety and mercy in Surah Tauba, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give safety and security and a mercy for the non-believers. This is why Bismillah has not been mentioned. It's one of the opinion that why Bismillah is not mentioned before Surah Tauba. This surah also called Surah Bara'at. This surah is also called Surah Bara'at. It has two names, Surah Tauba and Surah Bara'at. According to another narration, when Usman radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not declare Surah Bara'at to be a distinctive surah. So according to Usman radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not declare Surah Tauba as a separate surah. So this is why Bismillah Rahman Rahim is not mentioned before Surah Tauba. Also another reason is, moreover, it is closely related with the previous surah, which is Surah Anfal. So it is possible that these two surah are actually one single surah. Taking this into account, Bismillah is not written between Surah Anfal and Surah Barat, as Bismillah is only used to separate two surah. So there are two opinions for Bismillah is not mentioned. One is that Bismillah is for safety and mercy. However, in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about war and fighting, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not plead safety and mercy for the non-believers. This is why Bismillah is not mentioned before this surah. One reason. Another reason, according to Usman radiallahu anhu, that Surah Barat or Surah Tauba is not a separate surah. Actually, it's a part of previous surah, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not declare Surah Tauba as a separate surah. Okay. Moreover, another reason is that both Surah Anfal and Surah Tauba, the context are more likely similar. So it could be that these are only one surah. This is why Bismillah has not been mentioned before Surah Tauba. However, now what's the rule of reciting Bismillah before the surah? According to some scholars, it is haram to recite Bismillah before Surah Bara'at or Surah Tauba. It has two names. Before Surah Tauba, it is haram to recite Bismillah, according to some scholars, and it is makruh or disliked to recite Bismillah in the middle of the surah. For example, you are not reciting from the beginning of the surah, you are just reciting from the middle of the surah. Okay, or any of the verse from the middle of the surah. So according to first opinion, it is haram to recite from the beginning, and it is makruh to recite from the middle. Okay, in Surah Tauba. However, another opinion is, according to the others, it is makruh to recite Bismillah before Surah Tauba in the beginning, and mustahab or recommended to read it when reading from the middle. So that we take actually the second opinion. We do not recite Bismillah in the middle. Do not recite Bismillah in the beginning. However, we recite Bismillah in the middle. So you can take any opinion. It's okay to take any of the opinions. So what are the two opinions? One is it's haram to recite Bismillah before Surah Tauba, and makruh to recite in the middle. Second opinion is it is makruh to recite in the beginning. However, it is mustahab to recite in the middle. For example, when you recite لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ, this is a part of Surah Tauba. So when you recite it, we recite أعوذ بالله Bismillah. That should be fine. Okay, now the last rule we talk about today is the rules when beginning to recite Surah Barat. The rules of reciting Bismillah Rahman Rahim, the rules of how to start reciting Surah Tauba. Because there is no Bismillah in this surah. Now how do we start this surah? So there are three ways, the Quran mentioned, the scholars of Qiraat mentioned, there are three ways we can start reciting Surah Bara'at or Surah Tauba. Okay? The first one is called Waqf. Does anyone know what does Waqf mean? Yes. Stopping, yes. Waqf means stopping. So in this rule, we stop after reciting the previous surah. Then we recite A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitan Rajim. As Bismillah, it should not be recited. So it will recite only A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitan Rajim, and then we start new surah. So if I give an example, the last ayat of Surah Anfal, the surah before Tauba is Surah Anfal. The last part of Surah Anfal is Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alim. This is the last part of Surah Anfal. Then the beginning of Surah Tauba is Bara'atum min Allahi wa Rasulih. Okay, so how do we apply this rule? First one is called Waqf. That we finish the last surah, we recite A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitan Rajim, and we start the new surah. So we recite like this. Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alim. A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. Bara'atum min Allahi wa Rasulih. So this is the first rule to start surah Tauba. Is everyone clear about the first rule? We finished the Surah Anfal by saying Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alim. We stop, pause. Then we recite A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim, give pause. And then we start Bara'atum min Allahi wa Rasulih. This is called waqf. Second one is called wasal. Wasal means to keep together. So to start Surah Barat without stopping at the end of Surah Anfal, no pause should be taken and A'udhu Billah should not be read. So we'll complete Surah Anfal without any pause. We start the new Surah without reciting A'udhu Billah or Bismillah. Just start new Surah. Example: Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alimun. Bara'atum min Allah. Is it clear? So, we went disregarding the whole stopping. So, there is no stopping. We just continue the last ayat of the Surah Anfal, joining the Surah Tauba. Again, Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alimun bara'atum min Allah. Okay, so the second one called wasal. Third one is called sakta. So we did not learn the rules of sakta. Just very briefly, sakta is means to pause while holding the breath after finishing Surah Anfal, then begin Surah Bara'ah. Just give a little pause, holding your breath without letting your breath go. Keep your breath down. Now hold your breath and just give a pause, little pause, and you start the new surah. Again, A'udhu Billah will not be recited. And if I recite the example like this, Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alimun bara'atum min Allah. This is called sakta, to hold your breath. You don't let your breath go after the finishing the last surah. So, Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alimun bara'atum min Allah. Is it clear? So the first one is what? Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bara'atum min Allah. Second one is asal, joining all together without reciting A'udhu Billah in between. Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alimun bara'atum min Allah. Third one is giving sakta after completing the last ayat. Give a small pause, holding your breath without full pause, not full pause, just give little pause and keep your breath, hold your breath and start the new surah. Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alimun bara'atum min Allah. So after saying Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alimun, I will not let my breath go. I'll hold it and start the new surah. Okay, so these are three rules. Out of these three rules, first one is best. First one is best. Then the second one. Then the third one. So the first one is recommended. Give a stop, reciting A'udhu Billah and start new surah. This is the best one. Then second one. Then the third one.